Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Please forgive my English. I am still learning. My name is Fiorella. I am an architect from Arequipa, Peru, and a researcher in the Young Science Program at the Blue Marble Space Institute of Science. Within the project, designing future human habitat on the Moon and Mars. Since I was very young, I grew up surrounded by birds, stars, and dragons. And perhaps without realizing it, I was already seeking a bridge between Earth and the sky. Today I want to share that bridge with you, Domus Arsia, an architectural and human proposal to imagine how we could inhabit Mars. We are a way for the universe contemplates itself, as Sagan said. Therefore, I believe that every habitat by design beyond Earth is, in essence, an extension of the gaze, a way for the cosmos to look back at you. In this project, Lava 2 become the protagonists because they offer protection inherited from geology, reduced radiation, shelter from micrometeorites, and thermal stability. As an architect, I ask myself, can we design habitats that will keep us alive on Mars? And can we also reflect the best of our humanity? I chose Mars because it represents that duality that has always fascinated human things, hostility and beauty. And Mars is our next habitable frontier. It is the planet most similar to Earth in conditional to support human life. However, its atmosphere is 100 times thinner than ours and composite of 95% carbon dioxide, making it impossible to breathe without assistance. Mars is the natural laboratory of our hope. While you watch this video, I invite you to think that each red rock, each shadow over the plain is a reminder of how much we have yet to understand and of how much we are still capable of creating. To understand Mars properly, we turn to terrestrial analogs. In Peru, the area between Chachán y Volcano and Papas de la Joya in Arequipa offer volcanic and desert conditions that simulate aspects of Mars. Field work and along of the terrestrial landscape fit the design decision for our first prototype here. Arsia is one of the largest volcanoes in the solar system, contain underground cavities, lava tube. I select one of the Wendy's tube with an approximate diameter, which required further study, and an estimation that within 100 meters, this natural space could house about 100 people, providing protection from radiation, micrometeorites, and extreme Martian temperature variation. That is where this project Beijing its opening is sealed with a structural surface rings that surpass a pressurized membrane. This membrane allows the creation of a controlled atmosphere within the underground volume. This video shows how lava tubes form when the edges of a lava flow cool, leaving an empty tunnel beneath the surface, and is precisely within that void where we are imagining a new repose, a cavern that, after millions of inhospitable years, call away to welcome human life in the future. Domus Arsia is born from the observation of Martian nature. That duality, exposure and protection, guided every decision. It all began with a pencil, with questions drawn more than writing. What will silence sound like on Mars? Or will a breath shake beneath the red blood? My first sketches were a way to translate those questions in geometry. This slide presents the design of the Domus Arsia open ring, and 5-meter wide toroidal structure, radius, what approximate to of usable area, serving as an access, reception, and transition module between the merchant surface and the subterranean habitat. The ring features 3 main entrances, and astronauts are locked at the tube with a decompressed lobby and discontamination chambers on both sides, and two symmetrical vehicle gates for rovers and supplies. The interior ring space holds a control reception area for visitor coordination, and technical logistics zone for storage and batteries, and a center stage of downwards ramp connecting to elevator that sends a 100 meters on the main habitat within the windy lava tube. After the sketch, we moved on the digital exploration through AI. This is an example of a prompt I used for an aerial view of a settlement inside of crater. What I was seeking order circular geometry responding to the crater, clear entrance and interconnected modulars. I generation and imagine the function as an advancing sketch to evaluate scale and a morpher for possible Martian city. In this first prompt, I sketched to visualize a circular habitat within a crater. The result showed an orbital ring suspended and images that already suggested the concept of the entrance ring. In this prompt, I required transparent geodesics domes that would allow interior view with vegetation. It was a gesture toward human well-being within the structure. I am not proposing to terraform Mars entirely. I envision controlled microclimates that support the psychological and social health of its inhabitants. The proposed ring functions as an interface between the surface and the interior in the prompt. I asked to depict a thin ring with a central elevator concealed as its descent into the lava tube. It was difficult to achieve the correct result. Many iterations were required to position it approximately on the surface of lava tube. The ring defines the experience of arrival. A brief exposure to Mars, followed by a descent into a protected environment. Here is continued working with prompt and AI, trying to perfect the ring, giving it more detailed instruction, just as the lava tube visualization was being refined. Although some elements were not followed achieved, Domus Arsia was beginning to take clearer form. Through more effort, the ring was defined, although other components still need development. I did not yet fully understand the entrance I was asking for. Ring uh, bit. But I was fascinated to adapt people, drones, and movements to environments, adding realism and perspective to a future Martian habitat. At this point, I imagine Lumina as constructive and sensory robots. Lumina helps build, illuminates, and accompany. It is the brain of the building. It is the extension of the human mind, an echo of truth that can reach where we cannot yet go. Lumina was conceived to build, care for, and further develop the human intellect. This image shows how Lumina interacts with architecture, including meditation rooms supported by its assistants. The descent to the habitat, though into the lava tube, this is the arrival station. Imagine descending through a cylinder with transparent walls, the last glimpse of the surface before entering a protected environment. That transition is architecturally significant. It marks the moment when ter- territory becomes home. The other imagine you leave the surface behind and enter or protected space. The underground level organizes house modules, community areas, workshop, mental health units, sleeping quarters, and a small urban greenhouse. What matters most is recovering and sensing on neighborhood and every day ritual event on Mars. Some representations were presented in visual narrative format, comic style, to tell the story of the habitat and living sequence. I wanted this slightly caricature style to help communicate risk, meteorites, and collective response. Vacation conclusion. Artificial intelligence began to be integrated into architecture around today. I can analyze sunlight, wind, and boiling height, and anticipating every energy of structure. Issue before construction where did it succeed in translating sketching into atmosphere, generating a sense of scale, exploring materials, and discovering unexpected composition. Where can it improve? In constructive precision, physical coherence, and understand of the human scale, and in integrating finer scientific data. I still lacks emotional intuition. The human mind remains irreplicable, yet it presents accelerates the conversation between imagination and reality. I is a tool, not the final curator. Who are we when we look at the stars? If we come with respect, with science, and with sensitivity, we will become a conscious extension of life in Earth. Taran says that exploration is in our nature. We began as wanderers, and we still are, and so perhaps we can finally understand that we have always been traveling home. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to my advisor, Dr. Jean Blanck, and to Blue Marble Space Institute of Science for their guidance and support, and also to the Habitat Marte team, Dr. Resende, for opening the space for this presentation. My English is not very good, so please write your question in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. Thank you all for sharing this moment with me. Thank you.